Hey guys, it's Julie. Today we have a very exciting video showcasing the Dior Backstage lineup of makeup. As you know, Dior has several brands within its own makeup and beauty brand. They have the Dior Forever, they have the Dior Show, and they have the Dior Backstage line, which is supposed to be used by the makeup artist backstage on the runway for Dior. Makeup artist Peter Phillips is launching these products specifically designed to withstand heat, sweat. They are 24/7 makeup products. They're transfer resistant, they are waterproof, and they are face and body. They have recently launched their new makeup setting spray. Yes, we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about how their face and body foundation compares to some of their newly launched Forever foundation formulas. So stick with me. We're going to do eyes, we're going to do complexion, and we're going to do the setting spray. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. And here we go down that Dior road that we know and love so much. To start our Dior Backstage look today, I want to go over what I do to prep my skin prior to any and all makeup application. In the morning, I take a hot shower. I do not wash my face with any kind of detergent soapy cleanser. I just let the water kind of cleanse my face, and then I get out of the shower, towel dry, sit down, and after my skin has no more moisture in it, I will use the First Aid Beauty pads. These are the Brighten and Glow Facial Radiance Pads with glycolic and lactic acids. These are super gentle. There is a slight stinging sensation, so I know it's working, but I use the Curology tretinoin treatment nightly, and my skin has a resistance to these pads. So they are effective. They're just going to gently slough away any dead skin cells and give you the smoothest makeup application possible. I really love these pads from First Aid Beauty. After I have swiped my face with the First Aid Beauty pads, I will then go in with a milky toner. I love the Bioma milky toner, but I have recently just been finishing up this Laneige. It is a cream skin serapeptide toner and moisturizer. I use this both morning and night, and it just really creates a very smooth and comforting sensation on my skin. It calms any redness, any irritation, and it is a great primer for the serum and the moisturizer that follows. So I will just take a little bit of this milky toner, I'll pour it in my hand, and then I will rub my hands together and smooth it on. I do not use a cotton pad with that product. While the milky toner is absorbing into the skin, I reach for an eye cream. I have been using the Dior Capture Oxy Treatment Eye Cream. I have found that since using this eye cream, I am able to use heavier concealers under my eyes without the risk of creasing. The only thing I can think of is that I had started using this about a month ago, and I have been seeing the results in my makeup wear. So let's take off the glasses, and I am going to take a little fingers amount and just pat these two together. And then we're going to go underneath the eyes. And I use this morning and night. It is a really, really nice eye cream. It doesn't have a heavy fragrance. And as I said before, it really makes a difference in your concealer and makeup application underneath the eyes. Products that I had used previously that I would never use under my eyes, such as my Saint cream makeup, I would never use that underneath my eyes because it would crease and crepe. I can now use that underneath the eyes. This is how good this eye cream is. I don't really notice a big difference in dark circles. I don't really have dark circles. I have more so shadows from these pockets of fat, you know, diminishing underneath the eyes as I age. I am going to be 46 this year, but I have noticed, you know, there is a hollow here, and that's not going to help the 3D issues that we have in our skin. But what this does help with is lifting, firming, and wrinkles. It's a really great eye cream. So I recommend the Dior Capture Eye Cream very much so. Now that I have my eye cream on and my milky toner has absorbed, I'm going to reach for a sample of the Dior Capture Le Serum. This is the newest version of their serum. I have tried pretty much all of the Capsure serums over the decades, and this one is probably my second favorite. I did like the one prior to this one that came in the pink and silver bottle, but I noticed that they are reformulating quite a few items in their lineup, but this one still delivers. It's going to give you a very smooth makeup application. This is going to go deeper into the skin than a moisturizer would be able to. And this is generally what I have been applying pre-moisturizer for decades. And again, I am going to be turning 46 in July. I think my skin looks pretty good. There are some concerns with the jowl area here. I'm noticing a little bit of fat accumulating here. When I turn to the side, we can see that more. Definitely got to watch out for these little marionette lines. But forehead wrinkles, eye wrinkles, face wrinkles, I don't really have those as of yet. And again, I use Securology tretinoin and niacinamide treatment every night. Okay, you can see my skin has reddened just a little bit from the pulling and tugging on my skin. We're going to let that subside and apply the moisturizer. Now the Capsure Le Serum absorbs super rapidly, so I usually just go in with the back of my hand and just feel that there's no more tackiness. We want to make sure that this product has had time to absorb and it feels pretty good. It takes less than 2 minutes. And then we're going to go in with the Capsure cream. This is the day cream, and I know that they have several textures available. They have a light texture, they have a rich texture. I believe that this is their standard texture. And because I'm going to use an SPF, I don't need a lot of this cream. Now I know that this cream is super silky. It is not greasy. It leaves a satin finish on your skin. So I love the Dior skincare. Can use just about anything from Dior now that they have reformulated everything. I just have to be careful of the things around my eyes because I have very sensitive eyes, definitely. So this absorbs very quickly as well. We're going to let the redness subside and make sure it's fully absorbed before applying a sunscreen. All right, I'm feeling my skin. It's still just a little bit tacky because it is a cream. It's going to take a little bit longer to absorb in, but I'm going to go ahead and put on a sunscreen. Currently, I have the Dermatology Universal Tinted Moisturizing Sunscreen. This is an SPF of, I believe it says 46. Let me put my glasses on because that seems a little bit strange. Yes, it does indeed say SPF 46. This is a glow and prevent moisturizer. It's a tinted moisturizer, so I probably didn't really need the Dior cream, but it's not going to hurt. So I just kind of pump this on. Even though this is glowy, it does absorb really, really nicely before makeup. I don't have any issue with extra shine from this product. So currently love this one. I also like the Clarins SPF product. That one is really great too. As you know, I love Clarins as well as Dior. And I noticed that Dior has just launched a new sunscreen. It comes in the white packaging with the black lettering, kind of similar to their on-off cleanser. But they have just launched a new sunscreen, so that's excellent. I've always wanted Dior to have a dedicated sunscreen product for the face that wasn't part of their self-tanning line. So we'll have to definitely give that one a try at some point. But for now, we'll just let this Dermatology sunscreen absorb in. And like I said, it's a great product for underneath makeup. It's really nice. The fragrance is very dull to me. It kind of smells like clay, very earthy. It doesn't have that typical sunscreen smell, so it's okay. The perfume or the smell in the Clarins sunscreen is a little bit stronger, but I do like it better. I've allowed the SPF to absorb, and now I've got my box of Dior makeup. I store all my Dior makeup in this box, and of course I ordered from the Dior website, and that is why I have this box. But I want to go in with the Dior foundation. So as you can see here, I pretty much own all of the Dior foundations. Not all of them, but pretty much all of them. I do have the powder foundation. I do not have the new formulated natural nude foundation, but I have the old formula. I have the old Forever foundation in the matte formulation, and I have the new Dior Forever Skin Glow. I have made a video prior to this one, so make sure you watch this video. But today we are going to focus on all things Backstage, including the Backstage Face and Body Foundation. This is probably my favorite foundation from Christian Dior. I don't know what it is about this, but I absolutely love it, and I absolutely love the formulation before this one. This is the newest formula. I have shade 2N, and what I like to do is really give this a good shake. And it's a very water thin formula. I like to apply it with my fingers and then follow it with a beauty blender just to absorb any excess. But this is a waterproof, transfer proof foundation. It is really, really good. And it does not emphasize texture at all. So it's just got a little screw cap on it. And this is very popular with makeup artists. So out of my current regime of Dior foundations, this is definitely my favorite. And what I like to do is just take a drop about like that and begin to blend it. And it does blend quite seamlessly. So again, this is a perfect match for me, 2N. I noticed in the new Dior Skin Glow formula that the 2N oxidized to a pinky color on me after about 30 minutes. So I would recommend shading down in the new Dior Forever lineup. I have heard that the matte version of the new Dior Forever does not oxidize as much, but the glow definitely does. So this definitely has a natural sheen on it, and I like it. But again, it's very thin, and I like to apply it with fingers just to get a seamless skin-like look. That is what I'm going for. I'm not going for a heavily made up foundation look. And I could use two hands just to help this move along a little quicker. I want to kind of show you the difference between one side of the face and the other. Here is the difference between both sides. I have 2N Dior Backstage foundation on one side. This is the other. We're going to go in and do the other side. I'm not sure if they still make the Backstage Face and Body Primer, but I remember it came in a very similar bottle and it was white. So they did have that available at some point. Not sure if it's still available, but I would check Sephora. I'm not a primer person. I just don't want to add any more layers to my face. I think skincare is the best primer, but let me know what you think. If you've tried the Backstage primer, if it really adds longevity to the makeup, but I just don't like having all those layers. It just doesn't feel right to me. I need something that absorbs into the skin and then one layer of makeup on top that sits on top of the skin. I don't want several layers on top of my skin. This foundation does not have a sunscreen built in, and I am okay with that. Now, I like to take foundation down my neck every day of the week. I don't care if I'm having a photograph made or if I'm just going to work. I like to have foundation on my neck. Foundation is not skin. So if you want a seamless look to your makeup application that looks like your skin, you will want to cover the skin on your neck. Skin is going to reflect light differently than a made up face, so I always encourage you to take your makeup down the neck. It doesn't have to be all the way, but you're going to use a brush or a sponge to diffuse that line of demarcation. And yes, there's always a chance that it will get on your clothing, but if you want the most seamless look, you have to think beyond the color matching your neck. You have to think about how the skin versus the makeup reflects light. So when I apply the makeup to the neck, the light will reflect off my neck the same as it does on my face. And again, this is the face and body, so you could take it down into the neck region. You could absolutely do that. I have a damp beauty blender. We're just going to go in and just pick up any extra makeup. I basically just did one layer of the face and body. And it's a perfectly natural finish. I just love the finish of this product. Looks like your second skin. Before I do any complexion, concealer, blush, bronzer, I like to go in and do my brows. So I even out my complexion with the foundation. Now I'm going to go in with the Dior Show Brow Styler in dark brown. This product is really good if time is of the essence and you need something quick that's going to give volume. It's going to fill in the sparse areas and give the illusion of individual hairs. It kind of does it all. And it has a little cap and a brush spoolie on the other end, so you can kind of fluff up the brows. You can see the difference between the two brows. Now I like to follow up with some kind of fluffing gel or cream product that goes on with a wand. I really like the one from Urban Decay. I think it's called the Big Bush Brow Mascara. That one's a really good one. I'm sure Dior has their own version of a brow gel or fluffing brow product that would give more of a fluffy, voluminous look, because this looks kind of harsh when you first look at it. I could go with a lighter color, but my hair is very dark and I like to match my hair. So look at the difference. This is very ashy and gray looking over here, and this is more of that rich, dark brown that I'm looking for. It's so hard to get the brows to match, and I like to have my brows match. I know some people say they're sisters, they're not twins, but I'm an artist, so balance and symmetry is super important to me. I am super excited to try this concealer that is part of the Dior Backstage lineup. This is going to complement the Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I have picked up shade 1C, which is shade level 1. It is one shade level below my shade level. I'm normally a shade 2. So I went with one shade level lower, and I went with cool because I like a cool tone underneath my eyes to disguise dark circles. I have never tried this product before, so I am super excited. I do have the Dior Forever Concealer in 2CR, and I felt it was just a little bit too matchy for my taste, so I made sure to go lighter with the Backstage concealer. So let's try this out. I'm very excited. This is going to be great for any purse. It has a brush applicator, very interesting. It's a paddle brush, and I'm finding that this, even though it has a rounded bottom, it does sit up on your countertop, so that's encouraging. We're going to go in with this and see how it does. And it does have some thickness. I am seeing that, very similar to the Dior Forever. And dependent on how thick and setting this product is, how thick and how it sets, I will go in either with fingers or a brush. And we'll see how that does. It might set pretty quickly. This is such a weird applicator, but I like it. It's a brush. I like to do a little bit of highlighting up here. I'm liking this color. It doesn't look cool at all. It has like a yellow cast, like more of a neutral, I guess. And then I like to do a little bit here. I'm hoping I like this one better than the Forever, because it's just okay to me. So I am a Saint artist affiliate, SEINT. I don't know if you've ever heard of that brand, but I love it. Everything comes in a palette. It's cream, it's magnetic, and I really like the philosophy of contouring and highlighting with that brand. And I really feel like their popularity on TikTok and social media has propelled other brands to develop a dedicated contour, a dedicated highlight, where there wasn't that really in abundance before. So whatever brand I am using, I always look to contour and highlight. I just think it gives me a much more flattering look at my age. So we're going to let this sit. I'll come back and tell you what I'm going to do as far as using fingers or a brush. I'm touching the product with my fingers, and I can see that this is setting super quickly in comparison to the Dior Forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a finger to retain the coverage. You can see it has a lot of coverage, and I am really digging this color. This is just what I'm looking for, and I'm just going to use my finger just to warm it up and not totally blend it in, but just kind of get it started. And it looks fantastic. Just kind of moving this around, and what we will do is we will use a brush just to diffuse it. Loving that along the jawline. Really, really love the face and body line from Dior. It's so good. If you take really, really good care of your skin, you don't need the heaviness that other people need in their makeup. So you want to find these water-like viscosity, thin complexion products that give coverage and perfecting properties, but without the heavy, heavy, unnecessary layer of makeup. Okay, so we've got it pretty much stamped in with a finger, and it is retaining its placement. Now I'm going to go in with my Saint Pilot brush. I love this brush. I pretty much use it for everything because inside it has other brushes. So this is really, really cool. And I'm going to use the traditional foundation brush side. I'm going to clean it though with my Saint brush cleaner. I'm going to give you guys my link. If you want to purchase any of these products from Saint, I actually get credit. So I'll put that definitely somewhere in the comment section or in the description or both. And you can see it really pulls out the makeup. Smells like vanilla cupcakes, and it's instant. So I'm going to grab a mirror and I'm just going to look in closely to make sure that we get a seamless blend. So this brush is going to diffuse but not take away that extra coverage that you don't need. Wow, definitely like this more than the Forever concealer. It could be that I got the wrong color in the Forever concealer, but this concealer is airbrushing and it's not as luminous. It's more of a matte finish compared to the Face and Body foundation. So you are going to have a nice balance of matte and glow when using these two products together. I had a feeling that I was going to like this concealer. We could also take it, you know, for a little extra dimension. A lot of people like to highlight kind of alongside of the nose, kind of like a contour without using contour. I'm going to take some of this down here where I have these little folds of skin. We're just going to let that set just a little bit. Or actually, we can see how it blends right after application. Do we need to really wait, or is it just so workable? Seems like it does a pretty good job. You know, if you were to go in and start blending right away, it still retains the coverage. I'm going to take this underneath my nose because this is generally where I will lose the coverage. All right, that looks wonderful. Loving that concealer. As you can see, I have several blushes from Dior. Some of these are part of the Forever branding, and then some of these are the Backstage. So I have the stick formula of the Backstage blush, and I have 2 powder blushes. Today I'm going to do a mixture of both. I'm going to start with the powder, and then I like to put the cream on top. So let's see how that performs. I know a lot of people like to do the cream and then the powder, but I prefer the powder and then the cream. These 2 colors are exactly the same. So these are the, let me get my glasses on. They are called Rosy Glow. So I have Rosy Glow and 001 Pink, and I think that these are exactly the same color. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll just do a little swatch really quickly to show you. So the powder is that, and the stick, well, they are different actually. Okay, the other powder is called Candy. This is Candy. I know that's a popular shade. It has like a very fine shimmer. And they have a smell. They smell really good. So I think what I want to do, I want to use the powder, and then I want to use the cream over the top. All right, I have one of my favorite brushes from Saint. This is the Shape brush. It's very popular among us Saint artist affiliates. So I'm going to use the Rosy Pink. Let me see here. 001 Pink Rosy Glow. Okay, so let's go ahead and go in here and just get a whisper light amount of the blush. Now, what I love about these blushes is that they're going to provide a little bit of mattification over the cheek area. And boy, do these smell good. They just are a burst of fresh candy smell. It's not overly sickening. It's not sickening at all, actually. But I like how this is going to diffuse the look of pores. So I kind of bring it in a little bit close to the nose. And we're just going to use this kind of to blur the middle of the face. Okay, and we're going to use that highlighting stick blush more up here in this region. I really like the traditional 001 Pink on me. It is just a universally flattering shade. I do not remember if these are pH activated, do not remember in the least. But whatever this is, it's perfect. I love it. And I do remember, I'm going to use this up here because it's such a light color. Get away with it. I do remember that they used to have a setting powder as part of the Backstage lineup, and I heard from a couple of makeup artists that they did not like it, but totally wish they did have some kind of Backstage powder because the quality and the finishes on these Backstage products are superb. Now we're going to go in with the stick version of the 001 Pink, and looking at this product and the stick properties of this. I am not wanting to just put this directly on the face. We could certainly try it on one side, but I'm having a feeling in my gut that we should be applying this to the back of the hand and then using the brush to pick it up. But let's go ahead and try it. So I probably would not swipe this. I'd probably more so just stamp it, and it's very pigmented, and just kind of pat it in. And it does give a really pretty, just little bounce of light. And then over here, let's try it like this. And let's pick it up and see which application we prefer. You are wasting a little bit of the product when you put it on your hand. It's funny because it looks like a totally different color when you do it like that. It might have something to do with it being a pH product, but this side looks more like purple and this side looks more pink. It's crazy how that works. Is it the lighting or what? But they totally look like a different color. My goodness. They're both really pretty colors, but I really love this over here. So maybe doing it like that is better. But I like it. I like the blush. I like both the powder and the stick. I'm actually going to use a little bit of this on my eyes just to kind of add uniformity. I do not own any of the Backstage eyeshadow palettes. I'd love to. I was almost going to go by Sephora and pick one up today prior to filming, but I was like, no, don't have the money to do that right now. All right, I'm going to skip over to the eyes and do the Dior Waterproof Pen Eyeliner. This is shade Satin Brown. And this is a beautiful pen eyeliner. I have used very inexpensive pen eyeliners that are just as good as this from NYX and even Wet n Wild. But what I like about this product in particular is the color. The brown is a perfect compromise between black and brown. If you don't want black but you like the definition that black gives, this is a really, really good brown. All right, for eyeshadow and highlighter on the cheekbones, I'm going to go in with the Dior Backstage Glow Maximizer palette. This is Frosted Opal. I do not believe that they have this specific color story anymore, but they have at least 4 options for you to choose from. I don't think that this is the most popular anyways. I do not care for this colorway, but there are others that I really did like. The one color that I really like on the cheeks is the white color. This is the color that is absolutely gorgeous. Let me go ahead and swatch these for you. There's the white. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it's like a sheer layer of powder with a wet shine. So that one's really pretty. This one is very odd to me. I cannot figure this out. It's very grainy. Let me see if it shows up. Very grainy, not my favorite. And then the pink, don't remember, I think it's very ashy looking as well. And then the blue, just not really sure how to use those products, those colors. They just kind of all look the same. Would have liked to have tried one of the other palettes, but I do really like this. Let's see which color I want to use on the lid. I think, you know, using a finger is probably going to be best. So I'm going to go in with my finger. Let's do, not really a fan of the taupe at all. Let's try the pink. Let's try the pink. And we'll just give this a try with the finger. And it basically really doesn't do anything other than just brighten the lid. It really looks good though. It's not something that I hate. And then let's try, I guess the blue could go in the inner corner maybe. Let's try it. Might have to get out a brush. Okay, now I can definitely see that little glitter in there. That's actually very pretty. Let's go to our Saint Pilot brush and let's pull out this tinier brush and let's do a little bit of the blue in the inner corner. Okay, I do like that now. I can see it. Was not able to see it as well in my bathroom the other day. That actually looks really pretty. Has a little bit of a microfine glitter. And I would probably say that the pink does work good on the lid. Let's see where we could use the taupe. All right, I guess the taupe we'll use kind of more over here. It's really my least favorite of all of them. Do a little bit more pink here. The pink is really pretty on the middle of the lid. All right, that's just a really youthful, brightened look. It looks really, really good, actually. I'm gonna use a little bit of the white right on the bottom here, next to the inner corner, just to highlight, open up the eye. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now we're gonna go in, and I'm gonna use this side of my shape brush to apply the product on my cheeks. So again, I love, 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 love this white powder the best. See how pretty that is, but the look already has a beautiful sheen to it. It's not as if I need this. That stick blush is very pretty. Look how pretty that is. And let's just go down the nose. We have not even used a contour. And now we're going to do some mascara. We're going to go in and curl the lashes with my Saint Lash Curler. Give this a little bit of a squeeze. And we will do some of the Dior Overcurl, Dior Show Overcurl Mascara. This is a really good one. I have tried the Over Volume, and that one is really good too. I do like that one, but mine is dried up, so I'll have to get another one. Have not tried the original Dior Show in quite some time. This one you can really layer, and it just keeps getting better and better. And it does have a nice amount of length and volume. And the brush is really good for precision, so we can see a difference. I'm going to do one more coat, and then I'll use the residual underneath my eye. when you're applying and getting length from a mascara, close your eye just a little bit. That way you don't accidentally hit the skin up here in this region, because your eye would be open, it would hit that. But with your eye just ever so slightly cracked open, you can apply and curl to your heart's content. This is a fabulous, fabulous mascara. I may like it more than the new one. And just really get some nice curl from this. Look at that. That's amazing. Now let's go on the bottom. Side to side. Just keep going until it looks like you have eyeliner on the bottom rim. That means that the mascara is volumizing at the root. You can see I don't even need eyeliner on the bottom with this mascara. And this is just black. So I'm going to go in and do the other eye, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think my complexion looks amazing. The mascara, the eyes look amazing. And by using that concealer on each side of the nose, I'm getting a little bit of a contour going there. But I'm going to go in with the Dior contour stick in number 3 medium. And I'm going to pop open my Saint Pilot brush. I'm just going to use this fluffy end just to give a little bit more definition along the side of the nose that I'm losing because of the illumination. And that looks just amazing. Just a touch is all we need. And it just brings a little bit more definition to the nose. I could put some on the jawline, but I like it the way it is. I'm not going to touch it. I could use just a tap of this underneath the chin. All right, I changed my mind. I like this so much. I'm just going to use just a tap back here, just to give a little bit of dimension. You have to be very light-handed with this contour stick. I never apply it directly to my face. I could go with the lighter color and see how that would work, but with this particular color, it's good to go in with the brush. What I want to do is, now that the complexion and the eyes are done, I'm going to use the Rouge Dior Contour Lip Liner. This is shade 329 Nude Blush. This is a really beautiful dark liner. I think it'll contrast nicely with the Dior Glow Lip Balm, which I'm going to use in just a minute. This lip liner is one of the longest wearing lip liners I've ever tried. I do like the Urban Decay 24/7 lip liners as well. Those are also very, very good. I'm thinking of trying the Wrinkles Schminkles face patches for this area right here. It is really starting to droop, more so than this side, but this is the side that I sleep on, so I'm thinking that has something to do with it. I've also seen the Frownies advertised, so I'm not sure which one I want to try. Maybe I'll try both. But please let me know if you've tried some kind of facial patch for the marionette lines and the jowls. I think this is going to look super good with the lip glow. I'm just going to use the brush. And you don't have a lot of playtime with this liner. It really sets quickly. All right, I've recently rediscovered the Dior Lip Glow Balm. I love this product. It looks so good all on its own, especially with a lip liner. When I use this, I can just throw it in my bag and reapply throughout the day and not worry about getting it outside the line. It just looks so good. And I'm thinking of actually picking up some of the other colors that they offer, but this is pH activated, and this is what it looks like on me. And it just seems to plump the lips and just give them a really beautiful finish. For powder today, I'm going to use the Dior Forever Nude Radiant Filter in the illuminating version. There's a matte version, and the illuminating version is my favorite. Just going to use this in the T-zone. You can see how that airbrushed everything in that area. I'm going to use it with a slightly denser packed brush. This again is my Saint Pilot brush. I love it, love it, love it. And don't want to use it up here because that's where I have my glow. But you can use this underneath the eyes totally. It looks really good. And it gives you that illumination down the center of your face where you want that highlight. Exciting news! I did receive the Backstage Airflash Mist. This is brand spanking new. I got it off of Sephora Early Access. It is a 24-hour wear and hydration makeup setting mist to smooth, fix, and refresh. And this is part of the Backstage line. I do have the Dior Forever setting spray as well, and I really like that one. I was just seeing if there was any other information on this product. I've noticed that Dior has gotten away from using the box to display directions and whatnot. It says after makeup set and refresh. You can also use it before makeup to prepare and hydrate, which I did not know that. I did not know that. So the bottle is just beautiful. It almost looks like a body spray fragrance. It's very much different from your typical, setting spray. It's a gorgeous bottle. I love, love, love this that is being repeated in all their designs. It says that you can use it before and after makeup. Okay, we're going to go ahead and try it. It says to use it 14 to 16 inches away from the face. So let's give it a shake. And we are going to hold it about 14 to 16 inches away from the face. All right, so very fine mist, so that's good. And it smells like the Dior, it's a skincare. What is that? The Dior Hydra Life. This is what it reminds me of. Is the old Dior Hydra Life. So I'm going to do my hair and come back after this has dried down and show you the final look. All right, here is the finished look, and I absolutely love the Backstage line from Dior. It looks so good. I was a little disappointed in the new Dior Forever Skin Glow Foundation, as I feel like the color is not quite right for me. It does oxidize. Maybe if I were to try a 1.5, it could look better, but just loving the properties of the Dior Backstage foundation and concealer. I love that they are thin. I love that they are full coverage. You can layer them, you can build the coverage. I love that you can lighten the coverage. I love that they're waterproof and transfer proof, 24-hour makeup. It is perfect for someone that has large pores and shiny skin, and they want to have that skin-like look but still obtain coverage. So just loving the natural skin glow of this product. And I love the setting spray. Very much reminds me of the new Urban Decay setting spray that is the glow formula. This does have a glow to it. So I just use my beauty blender just to kind of tap down that product into the skin. Now I could go back and apply a little bit more powder if I wanted to. Let's actually try that right now and just see if maybe that gives a little bit more airbrushing property to it. Sometimes I will sandwich a setting spray between powder, and it just gives a little bit more of that airbrush look, especially under these lights, but you don't have to do this. But it is absolutely stunning. Your skin looks healthy. Highly recommend this. I would encourage you to go back and watch some of my other Dior foundation videos. I know I did one recently on the Dior Glow foundation that has recently been reformulated. I believe I've done a video on the stick foundation, which again is a little bit heavy for me. So I hope this video using the Backstage line is helpful in you making your Dior decisions. Make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe. I'd love to have you as a subscriber to my channel, and I will be sure to keep you in the loop of what other brands are launching. I think I'm going to do a video on Benefit makeup. It's been a long time since I've tried Benefit, and I'm really curious to try their products again. And maybe some Gucci makeup. Their packaging is just so cute. But I will be back. I usually will record my videos on Saturday and then upload on Sunday. So guys, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for joining me today. See you later. Bye.